Namaskar, friends. Today, when we are discussing about the annual information statement, that is the budget, which is popularly called, actually, technically, it is annual financial statement, which we call as budget. So, 2026 budget has been presented. This is the first time it has been seen that the budget primarily recognizes India as a very potential country and hopes that India would be able to meet the challenges of integrating with the global economy. For that, certain research has been gone behind this. What is strategically important? The minerals, the very rare earth minerals are very strategically important for geopolitical reasons also. What was oil in the previous century, it is rare earth minerals in the present century because this is helpful for chips, rockets, and so many other things. There is a word in German called Mittelstand, which means that the tool manufacturing would be automated and what tool manufacturing will be indigenously undertaken, and with that help the country would be able to manufacture the capital equipments himself. This is the thrust given in the present budget. We need not depend upon Germany. Then, very interestingly, the container manufacturing. In the COVID period, we faced this crisis, the container crisis. 95% of the containers are manufactured in China. Why not we produce the containers so that we will be controlling the world trade? The world trade happens in containers. Containers, the primary materials on which the goods are packed and sent. So, if we control the container manufacturing, we can overtake any other country for that case and we will be controlling it, the global trade. And then the thrust is upon the income producing capacity of the agricultural products. For that, cash crops like cashew nut and the coconut has been given importance. Giving thrust is good, but it has to be seen that how viably it can be encashed. Then there is the talk about the semiconductor manufacturing and electronic components manufacturing indigenously. That is a good measure. That is a good measure because we are depending mainly Thailand like countries for this type of items, the semiconductor items. If we indigenously manufacture these items inside our country, we need not depend other countries for our purpose. Like for example, Thailand. Sometimes it becomes scarce item, and in that time the laptops are very pricely. We have seen that in our COVID times and all. And then the thrust is upon the forming of a commission for rejuvenating the public sector banks. We are aiming at $10 trillion economy and a future ready banking system. For that, we need a complete overhaul. We are not done with the restructuring and the mergers. For that, we need further and further mergers. That's why a thrust for a commission has been made. This is a very futuristic and long term strategy which will go a long way in getting our country's economy into financially sound. There is another peculiar feature of this budget is that after 1991 there has not been much thrust on developing the bond market. This budget is taking up that. The bond market is needs some reformations which is being thrust upon in this budget. Then there is a thinking about developing clusters, that is educational university clusters around industrial hubs. That's a very good move. This is Silicon Valley type of move which would help the catering of skills directly from the universities to the industrial clusters. Interestingly, this budget makes an interesting admission that whatever education certificates are being produced, that is not meeting the job requirements. In other way, whoever are graduating, they are not getting jobs. So there is thinking on this aspect, and the education will be made fully skill based, so that and simultaneously industrial hubs will be developed, so that those who educate from the education institutions would get the job. Then there is a question which is being analyzed and answered in this budget is the treatment for cancer type of diseases, that is biologics, which we have been ignoring till now and have been importing, would be indigenously made within India. Then this budget is making a very interesting reference to Harappa Mohenjo-daro sites and certain archaeological sites which would be developed as a tourist center. Yet another center for mental health is very much welcome. And the tourist and trekking trails, the turtle trails, is another welcome move. There is more emphasis upon tourism than artificial intelligence. It will not kill jobs but will create it. This will be developed in such a manner that jobs creation will be there. Yet another move is just like a Japanese Shinkansen move and a Chinese city cluster move, the rail corridors, bigger Hyderabad rail corridors and Varanasi Siliguri rail corridors, such big corridors are being made to connect ports to manufacturing hubs and to connect the tech cities, so that innovation hubs are being developed. This is a very commendable move. Another thrust in the budget is that yet another thrust in the budget is that infrastructure development and waterways development. In that, interestingly, waterways in Kerala are being ignored in this budget. That had to be addressed. But overall, this move is aiming at reducing the freight and developing the industrial corridors, and through which development would definitely happen. Technically looking, this budget is a very technocratic budget. It is not a populist budget. It is not made to win elections. However, it is so much jargonful and technically oriented. There are certain unaddressed issues, like if you recognize agriculture, why not recognize the groundwater development? Climate is given a very miss in this budget. The whole world is talking about the climate and the global warming. This is given a very big miss in the budget. The budget believes that if we develop the systems, the public or the people will automatically develop. This budget fails to grow underground and think about the harsh realities population are facing. There is resources constraint in every sector we face. There is clean water stress, there is clean energy stress, there is clean air stress, like in Delhi. More more cities are going to be polluted in air. So such kind of thrust is being missed in this budget. Though this is a very foresight looking budget, a mandate or the manuscript or the very much plan for the next 25 years, this is a very less hopeful budget on certain ground realities. Hope you enjoyed my discussion. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you.